So the Buffalo Bills have been super active extending players in these offseason updates. Obviously, Shakir, then we saw Bernard, a key contributor on defense, a captain, a leader out there with outstanding playmaking ability. He had a nice forced fumble and recovery in a playoff game versus the Ravens prior to the loss that we took to the Chiefs, which I was saying has been good news for the Bills. Like a tough offseason, it always is to lose to the Chiefs once again, but it's been a series of good news since then with Josh getting the MVP honors, the Eagles handling business and beating the brakes off the Chiefs, spoiling that three-peat. Chiefs fans don't like to hear that. Thank God for the Eagles, right? But these extensions are good news as well. Again, Shakir, then Bernard. And like I was talking about Bernard's playmaking ability, the Bills have now extended another contributor on defense who was a playmaker last year, led the team in sacks. We're talking about Rousseau, who had a total of 8 sacks on the season. You'll see a couple different clips coming up. One that's real beautiful. You see him coming off the edge, going clear across and getting Purdy. That was for his 6.5 sack on the season. A lot of people debating if they gave him too much money or this was a good move or not. As you see, he was given how many years? A 4-year extension, $80 million. Some numbers here: 11th in snaps played among edge in 24 to 25. Was it second in QB hits, 17, 15th in pass rush win percentage, 14.6, 23rd in pass rush productivity, 7.9, 5th best versus run, 0.9, 7th most run stops, 24, 9th best in run stop percentage, 8.2. Only 24 years old, as he was a first round pick just a few years ago, which is always something as a fan of a franchise you want to see a team extending a first round pick or just a draft pick in general and them being productive. As with the Bills, you look at our recent first round picks and someone that you see right away was someone who we saw in that loss versus the Chiefs. It was ugly. I forgot he was even with the Bills anymore, and that was Elam. It was like, oh damn, Elam's still on the Bills, as we remained pretty healthy last season, where the previous seasons on one or both sides of the ball we were bit by the injury bug. And like when the playoffs came around the year before, we had to bring AJ Lee back off the couch because he knew the defense. Last year we remained healthy pretty much until very late in the season. We started seeing some injuries in the secondary. And then in the playoff game, there was an injury and Elam came in. And it was like, man, Elam is still in Buffalo. I forgot because he's been riding the pine. And we saw just why, as he was getting torched out there, getting a lot of flags. It was bad, you know. So this is good. Rousseau, number 1 pick just a couple years back in 2021. You look at some other recent number 1 picks. Ed Oliver still with the Bills. Edmonds, he went to where did Edmonds go? Edmonds went to Chicago, right? I think Edmonds went to Chicago. He wasn't a bad linebacker, but when free agency came around, the Bills were like, do we give him money? Let's let him test the free agency market. And like I was talking about Bernard, he was one of the guys that stepped in and stepped up. And I don't know, I like this signing. Everyone let me know what you think about it. 4 years, $80 million extension. Some beautiful sacks there. There's one against AZ, Kyler Murray, strip sack. He didn't recover it, but beautiful play. There's one against Tua in there. And I forget, the Purdy one. I think 3 sacks I included in the clips. And, someone debating about him getting the money or not. You see a lot of different reactions, but someone saying like, hey, I don't like this. That right here, Greg Rousseau had 5 total sacks after the first game of the year in 2024. I do not like that contract. Hasn't proven anything. Man, did he really? No, he had 3 sacks week 1. What is he talking about? Yeah, 3 versus AZ. And, oh, okay, I get what he's saying. He had 3 in week 1 and only got 3 more on the season. I was blanking out and saying 5 in week 1 and only 3 more on the season. But, like, hey, sacks can be hard to come by, pause, right? But I don't know. He was constantly bringing the pressure, and I don't know. I like this. I like this move. I'm happy to see the Bills locking up some players. Everyone comment and let me know what you think about this move for the Bills, as well as this other big move in the NFL over in Vegas with Geno. It's still crazy to me that Geno had a resurgence in his career the way that he did after the butt fumble and everything paused that happened with the New Jersey Jets. I thought Geno was washed. You know what I mean? He came into the NFL with high hopes. I remember back then some of my friends who aren't Bills fans being like, one of my bros is a big college fan, and what did Geno have, like 500 yards in that one game with West Virginia? And he's like, yo, that's who you want with the Bills. We ended up getting EJ Manuel right around there. I don't know if it was the same draft. I think it actually was. And, you know, that went how it went. I still think EJ Manuel could have been a better quarterback, but he's been very outspoken about, at that point in time, the coaching being trash. And, you know, that was still when consultants were running the team. And let's not forget, EJ also blew out his knee, which, I don't know, it was weird. It was like when he came back, he either played pretty good or played horrible. But prior to him blowing out his knee in that primetime game against the Browns, I thought he was coming along pretty well, and it was like every game that we were in was a ball game. We didn't really take any bad L's. But back to talking about Geno, like, I thought he was washed. Everyone out there, let me know if you felt that way as well when you seen Geno step up with the Seahawks. Like, oh, okay, Geno, 34 years old? Now still doing his thing and reunited with Pete Carroll with the Raiders. I'm very intrigued to see what happens with the Raiders this season. They're a squad that has continually seemed like they were on to something, but they're overcoming a lot of misses and drama within the franchise, with the whole debacle with Gruden, then the whole thing where now Tom Brady being a minority owner, there was that whole thing that was revealed to us that they wanted, there was some talk of Brady actually playing for the Raiders at one point in time before retiring and being a minority owner. Like, this is something Brady has wanted forever. Remember with the tampering scandal with the Dolphins, he was trying to go there and possibly be a minority owner. Like, there's just been so much drama with Brady with that whole situation. Talks about it for many and many years, as there still continues to be a lot of drama behind it as he tries to toe the line. And will he be able to be a broadcaster and an owner and be involved in the team in a hands-on type of way, as we've seen and heard a lot of reports that Brady is trying to bring the Brady way to the Raiders. And Geno is definitely a step up at quarterback. I'm surprised. Would they get him for a 3rd round pick? Everyone, let me know what you think about that trade, that deal, that move, Geno Smith, the Raiders, and all that. But that leads me into our last little discussion here. As you see everyone talking about, where is Shedeur Sanders going to end up, as he's projected to be the number 1 pick, maybe the number 2 pick. Everyone, let me know who you think is the better quarterback prospect, Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. And we look at the draft order here. And speaking of Brady has been mentoring Shedeur Sanders, and there's been a lot of talk that he wants Shedeur in Vegas. And there's also been a lot of theoretical news reports coming out about if Shedeur could end up being like Eli Manning, where he could refuse the team that ends up owning his rights via the draft. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know why that type of stuff keeps leaking out to the news. If sources close to Dion and, you know, different individuals who are tapped in with Shedeur Sanders have heard that or what. You know what I mean? But you see it goes Titans at number 1, Browns, then the Giants. All these teams need quarterback. The Titans are a mess. The Browns are coming off this whole Deshaun Watson situation, which was just absolutely buns. He came back. It's so crazy, man. Speaking of the Texans and Deshaun Watson, that franchise was like on the rise, looking like to be a contender. And then that whole scandal happened. He missed a year. The no criminal charges filed, but all the civil suits and everything like that. And like he ends up being traded to the Browns, gets a massive contract, and just absolutely issues the bed and gets hurt. They definitely are going to need a quarterback. You know what I mean? Like between the Titans and the Browns, Shedeur and Ward could be off the board. The Giants, number 3, I could definitely see them wanting to take a quarterback as well. Then you got the Patriots, Jaguars, the Raiders at 6, and then the New Jersey Jets at 7. I really wonder where both these quarterbacks will land, and if Brady has something up his sleeve to try to move up the draft board on draft day. There's just been so much linking Shedeur to the Raiders and to Tom Brady that it just feels like it's gonna happen, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is. But everyone, let me know what you think about this draft talk and Shedeur Sanders, this whole Eli Manning discussion. That's been something to hit the news a lot again. Like I said, comment if you've been seeing those type headlines, and if you have, why you think that is, and who will be Las Vegas's starting quarterback come next season. Obviously, Pete Carroll in his 70s, I think he's 73. He wants to win now. He wants to get another ring. And, time is of the essence. So he's got Geno back with him again, a reunion there in Vegas. And Geno got a payday like he wanted. He wanted some solid money after being a high draft prospect. Things not panning out with the Jets. Ended up having kind of a prove it type deal in Seattle, and he proved he can still ball. So he got himself a payday, as well as we discussed in the first segment of the video, the Bills extending Rousseau and giving him a payday. Let's talk about it all in the comments. Subscribe and stay tuned for more sports talk, football talk, as well as news and other topics over here on Coffee Talk. I'm out of here. Peace.